Are we live? We're live. You are live. Hey, everyone. It's me, Karen,
And
Courtney,
I'm Courtney.
and Michelle from Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary on ReelTime Animal Rescue. And today is January 1st, 2026. So happy New Year. I'm sure the whole world has celebrated by now. We're probably one of the last ones. So this broadcast might look a little different than it has in the past couple of years. We've decided to hold it here in the backyard. We've got the fence here. Behind us will be all the animals. We're going to be handing them some treats over the course of the broadcast, so y'all can kind of catch that in the background behind us. So with that being said, let's get started. It's tradition around here at the end of every year to say, wow, it's crazy. Like a whole lot of stuff didn't really happen this year. And then the way that I do this broadcast is I go to our Instagram, I scroll all the way down to the bottom of the year and go through every single post. And I jot down everything that's notable. Happy things, sad things, funny, whatever happens, that's, shenanigans. We like to call it shenanigans around here. And that took me about 3 hours. So to say that nothing happened or it was a quiet year is, no, it wasn't again. So we're live. We're here on YouTube. If anybody wants to comment or ask any questions, go ahead and do that. We can see that here and we'll get to you as soon as we can. We're going to be tossing some Christmas trees to the animals. I think we're going to have a popcorn party. We all got fun stuff planned for today. So let's get started. So January 2025, the first thing that happened that was significant was our Peanut Buttercup turned 7 years old. Now, Peanut Buttercup's mother was rescued by a sanctuary friend, and unbeknownst to her, Princess Buttercup was pregnant, and then she gave birth to Peanut Buttercup, and eventually they came to reside here. So Peanut is 7 years old now. After Christmas, the city of Gilbert, where the sanctuary is located, they collect the used Christmas trees, and they have a really cool recycling program. And one thing that they do with the leftover Christmas trees is donate them to us. So that's like my favorite time of year is pine tree season, because we toss them out here and the animals eat them all the way down to past the bark. They eat everything. They just leave the sticks. They eat the needles. They eat the bark. It leaves them smelling good. It's a natural dewormer, and I believe it's really good for their digestive systems too. So Nala here, our pretty girl with the horns, I'm backwards. She loves to toss the trees in the air. She's taken a 9-foot Christmas tree. She just tosses it around like a little rag doll. So it's really fun. But the reason why we have trees now is because Michelle's son works at a nursery. So we've got piles and piles and piles of trees. So we'll be doing that today. So this I don't remember, so I might have you kind of explain, but we had a really cold January last year. We've been pretty lucky this year. This winter hasn't been nearly what it's been in the past. But I noted down there was a lot of freeze mornings, which is really rare and weird in Phoenix, Arizona. And you guys were making them tea.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so I think I saw that from another sanctuary in like Tennessee, and where they have, their pipes will totally freeze, so they can't even get water out of their hose sometimes for the animals, so that she will warm up just like warm water and bring it to them, and they slurp it down like tea. And I was like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. She's like, yeah, they love it. It'll be just in a big bucket, and they're just slurping it down. You can see the steam, and they're so cute. So I put a little bit of molasses in some bowls because I was like, might need to entice them a little bit, so it'd be sweet, and then filled it with hot water, and then a little bit from the hose, so it wasn't, boiling anymore. And most of them really liked it. So we would give like some of the older animals like Princess and Gilbert. I think Chico liked it. Everybody would, for the most part, try to get some. But yeah, we'd make them their little molasses tea on the cold mornings to help them warm up.
They do go crazy for the molasses because we make like an electrolyte mixture in the summer that contains molasses and some other things, and they just like lose their minds over it. Another thing that we participated, so there's I don't know how to call like Zen Nights, but it's not really an organization, but they have like a vegan block party every single month in the town of Mesa, and they had a Mac-tastic showdown. So it was like a vegan macaroni and cheese contest, and we were invited to like be the recipients of all the proceeds. So that was fun. Me and Courtney went over there. We set up a table and sold swag and ate mac and cheese, vegan mac and cheese all day. So that was pretty cool. So Chico injured his horn back in January.
Oh,
Again?
So
Yeah, I do remember that. Remember, there was like a split in it. Do you remember that one?
I do remember.
And I
that
think
now.
I don't know if the vet had to come cauterize that one, but
No, I think she did now.
She did.
He's
She
got-
did.
back that was back in January. So yeah, like
Okay,
he's got this
I don't
really
remember
weird. I don't. It's not a scur. I think that the original farmer like cut his horns down, so one grows all the way back and touches his skull. We have to have that one trimmed down, but this one is very wide, and there was like a split in the middle. You could see like the bloody and the nerve endings under there, but that's all healed up and he's good now. So that's January. So that wasn't nothing bad happened. So that was good. Any month where nothing bad happens is a good month. So let's get on to February. So Rapunzel, our resident mean girl, she is put inside of a stall by herself for feeding time. And I'm sure if you guys have been following us, you know about Rapunzel. And we have to go into the ducks stall next to her to feed the ducks. And I always give her like a little handful of the duck pellets and she loves that. But we also feed the ducks greens. So I would always offer her greens, like whatever. And she turned and nose up at it. And one day I went in there with some kale and she gobbled it right down. So now Punzi gets kale when we get the duckies their greens and she loves that. So that was really cute. That was like a big moment. It's not very exciting probably to normal people, but to me it was like, wow, Rapunzel finally likes something green. And our resident old man, Gilbert. Turned 13 years old.
Wow.
That's pretty up there for that little guy. Yeah. So that's it. That's it for February.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So let's get on to March. March 1st is World Pig Day. So I try to find these little holidays to celebrate. So World Pig Day is March 1st. A sad thing did happen. We had two hens that were, where did thing 1 and thing 2 come from?
They came from Amber.
Okay.
Granella, her and her kids.
Autumn.
They always come in autumn.
Oh, okay.
They always come and support us.
Oh, okay. So the two girls, thing 1 and thing 2, we call them. Thing 1 passed away, and I don't remember why. Does anybody remember why?
No.
Or
It was just a
passed?
random thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
The
thing
other
2
one-
has
Which was
supposedly
really
had
odd.
cancer.
Yeah, which was really odd because thing 2 has this mass on her abdomen, and we've had it looked at, and and
They originally said it was cancer.
maybe a couple years ago, and the vet thought it was cancer, and just we kind of just went into like comfort care,
Mhm.
and that was like 2 years ago, and she's fine. And then one day her sister just passed away, so that was kind of a bummer, and it was unexpected. And then a happy thing happened. Chicolette, our little resident oopsie daisy. So I was on Instagram scouring, and you wrote that Chicolette's middle name is Oopsie Daisy.
Mhm.
That's why I asked what her last name was.
Oh,
And she goes, I don't know, Dico?
because
Because
I
they called Chico
Dico.
Dico. I was on Instagram yesterday, and as I'm going through all these posts of the year, I'm like commenting. She's probably like, Karen,
I know, I saw
where
the
these,
one, I
where
was
these
like-
coming from?
Like there's a post you're like commenting on it. It's something from like January or something, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
It shocked me how many posts I actually missed. But I said, she says Chicolette's middle name is Oopsie Daisy, and I said, what's her last name? But she was the Oopsie baby on the property, and she turned 3 years old. And we had like a birthday party fundraiser for her. It was actually really fun. We themed it like a 3-year-old kid's birthday party, and we had like cotton candy and temporary tattoos and
painting.
face painting. So that was fun. And these fundraisers are always a good time. And then, okay, so this one Courtney's going to have to discuss because I think I know what it is, but it was
Oh.
only told on Patreon, and I'm not on there.
Okay.
Nala had a big scare.
So we get there in the morning,
Oh.
and it was still dark, and I was with Sarah at the time, and normally I was back then I was with Elliot every day, so Sarah was kind of doing me a favor because Elliot was out of town. And all of a sudden, like I just hear this really weird moo, like just strange sounding. We get used to how the animals sound, and it was just this really weird moo, so strange to the point that I didn't even think it was one of our cows. I thought one of the neighbors. I was like, Sarah, did the neighbors back there get a cow? And she's like, no, that's Norma. And I was like, that's so weird. It doesn't sound like her. And we soon found out when we went back there, we turned on the lights, and
They get here way earlier than I do.
and the hose, Nala had, Nala's this girl right here with the big horns. She had wrapped her horns in the hose, which had been resting up on one of the fence
elastic
posts.
hose too.
It was like one of the stretchy elastic ones that never kinks, and it got stuck, and she had pulled it completely loose. So like the fabric part had come off. She couldn't go any further. We're just lucky that she didn't pull the whole pipe out of the ground, but it was Norma mooing, like, help her, like somebody help her. And I go out, like I said, I see this and I start shaking. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to try to like cut her loose. And it was like figure eighted, like around her horns.
Oh my
It was
God.
like perfectly wrapped.
Like so tight. Like cutting, horns do have blood vessels and
cutting
nerve
off
endings. So it
this
could have been
part
cutting
of her
off
head, too.
circulations, and like it was just all in there. So first Sarah went and got me like scissors or a knife, I think something like that. And I'm trying to cut through. And meanwhile, like the other animals are all like coming up, like what's going on? Because they're waiting for breakfast. And Norma was like running around the field. She would run around and then she would come running up to me and stop just in time. Each time I was like, oh my gosh, but she was like, help her. And I couldn't get it. Like it wasn't sharp enough. I'm like, Sarah, like, please go get something else. And Nala, meanwhile, is like freaking out. She's like shaking, like she was doing pretty well.
Good size horns back
But
there.
yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, it was really scary. And then so Sarah went to go grab something else sharper, but by the time she had come back, I did manage to cut through. And so then Nala or Norma went over, and they were rubbing, nuzzling on each other, like they were just so grateful. And then they just went into their stalls for breakfast like nothing had happened.
Had to cut the thing off, remember?
That was much later.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, so she ate first?
Yeah, they went in the stall like everything was normal, and so we're like, okay, let's just go in. So they ate breakfast and everything, and then later we had to actually get the hose off of her. And I honestly thought that was going to have to come and like use a blow dart and like sedate her, because she was not letting us get it, but she eventually did. It took Michelle, Nicholas, and I, and carrots and bananas.
Yeah, you had to calm her down.
Nicholas
Give her a whole bucket of calf calm.
And it was like a
God.
turban on her.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was crazy. So now we have a new rule: the hose stays on the ground every day. Like we don't ever wrap it up, because we wrapped it up so it didn't get tangled or whatever. But she did it again the following weekend, but it wasn't as bad.
Somebody had hung
and for
it back
some
up.
reason they like to play with that hose.
They do.
When we had like
used to do it, remember?
when we used to have like a more traditional hose wrapped up out there, I'd see Norma out there just rubbing on it, and I'd be like, oh my God. So anyway, yeah, that was crazy.
Oh, one other thing just about that really quick, how it just, I mean, it was a scary and could have been a deadly situation if it would have wrapped around her neck or anything else. It could have become a tragedy. But the one thing that was kind of beautiful to me was just how Norma was really trying to help her. And one thing I didn't mention, when she was running around, she would rub her head on the ground and then come over. Like she was literally
saying,
using in her own language, like her head, like help her. And her face was covered in mud. Like she had been doing it, like making this moo sound and just running around like, and she doesn't do that. And each time I'm like, is she going to just trample me? Like, but she would stop right away and make this really strange moo. And then, like I said, after they were just nuzzling each other, and it just shows like some people don't think about these animals in that way, but they're just like us or cats or dogs, families,
friends.
they have concern. She was scared for her friend, and she was trying to ask us for help. So I thought that was like, if there was a good side of it, that was like really beautiful, just to witness like the compassion and friendship that they had for each other, and how she tried to, communicate with us.
That could have been a big thing going wrong, but luckily I just can't imagine trying to cut that thing off of her. Oh my God.
We have like scissors, like machete. I don't even remember.
We had scissors, and the only reason we did it is because you had the calming voice, and you could get her to stand still for half a second so that I could cut through it.
Try to cut through. Yeah. And then the one thing too was that the end of the hose, like the nozzle, for it was like all the way over in one of the cow stalls. So she must have, at some point when it first happened, she must have been so frantic, shaking her head, this, thick, big nozzle just banging her head. It eventually came off.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, and then so it was like a rubber band. So when, like Michelle said, when we tried to pull it, and then, if we couldn't get it because she would jerk back or she would get scared or something, then it was like we're snapping with her with this huge hose rubber band. And so then she's like, oh, but she solely did, come over to us enough times that we were able to get it loose. So
That was
crazy.
fun.
Yep. So it was March. So we eased into the year, and then the what hit the fan. So if you're just tuning in, it's Karen, Courtney, and Michelle from Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary on ReelTime Animal Rescue. We're about a quarter of the way through our 2025 year in review, so we're going to kick it to April. The first notable thing that happened in April was the resident cat, and I'm going to let Michelle tell you about this because this was her personal kitty cat. Cheeto passed away, and he was just, when I first met him, he's kind of like a fluffy, kind of disheveled, kind of little looking boy, and I would see him, but I like goofy looking cats, right? That's kind of my thing, and I kind of befriended him over the past couple of years, and he was like the grandfather to all the to the kittens. She rescues a lot of kittens. She fosters a lot of kittens, and Cheeto was like the cutest thing. He was like a foster dad. But you want to talk about Cheeto a little bit?
Yeah, he just showed up one day on my door. It was actually the day I put my cat Bandito to sleep. And I used to call Bandito, Perrito, Petito, dun dun dun. So I was like, well, this has got to be Cheeto. I know.
Cheeto.
So I named him Cheeto. He came into my house. He was just under my car, just came in my house. I'm like, he's obviously somebody's pet. Sure enough, he is somebody's pet. Some guy, older guy, rides around in a tractor in the neighborhood, came over one day. He's like, do you have this orange cat? I'm like, yeah, he just showed up. He goes, okay. I said, is he yours? He goes, yeah. I said, do you want him back? He's like, no. And then he rode off in his tractor.
And he was the sweetest cat. He really was. He was such a sweet cat.
But he took to kittens. He was very overweight. I used to have to shear him because he couldn't groom himself properly. But he loved kittens. He like every foster kitten would curl under him, and he would like just give them warmth and love and
do you remember the little kitten that like took a piece of his, like a chunk of his fur and made it almost like a little nibble out of it?
Yeah, that kitten was nursing so far.
His Cheeto would just sit there, and these little kittens would just like nurse on him. He didn't have anything done, and he would just sit there and take it. And I really liked Cheeto.
It was
Cheeto was
so wet that it would stick out like a mohawk on his chest.
I know.
We're all
cat people in our normal lives too.
But he just started going downhill, and then I found him outside one day because he loved to go outside, and he just was a mess, and he just couldn't recover.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. So we did have to put him to sleep.
He was pretty up there too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea because he just showed up, but he wasn't young when he showed up.
So, yeah, we miss Cheeto. He was a good boy. So the next thing that happened, and I'm going to have you guys probably tell this story because I wasn't here for this, but I wrote down that the goats plus Zeus all escaped the pasture. I think they were here in the backyard. Somebody left there's a chain link fence behind us, but there's a gate to go in and out of here. And I actually don't really use that gate hardly ever, but somebody must have left it open because the picture I saw on Instagram was they were all in the yard. It was right in here in this yard.
I think that happened to you.
I think it might have been.
All the goats plus Zeus were in the backyard, and there's a lot of plants back here. She's got like a really nice backyard.
The cows were even back here.
Oh, the cows too.
I had to hose them off. And as a matter of fact, I remember
the
cows were so smart. They went to the furthest corner of the yard. Yeah, and I couldn't get the hose to reach over there.
Yeah.
So I was like running around, and I don't even know if Nicholas was home. But yeah, it was.
I can't because there's a lot to nibble on in this backyard.
And like just having them all out here, it was like, oh my gosh. I remember walking out going, there is like a bird in my backyard.
The group text got a stern message about leaving gates unlocked behind you.
It was probably me that did it.
Probably.
Or Nicholas.
Okay, so moving on. Frankie got a hemorrhoid.
Frankie got a hemorrhoid.
Oh yeah, Frankie has a little bit of bum trouble as it is. He had is it coccidia?
Yeah, it's coccidia.
As a young goat, which he almost didn't survive, and he did survive, but his digestive system seems like it's pretty screwed up because of that. So he's got really runny poo all the time, and we're constantly cleaning back there, and we try to give him some supplements to try to alleviate some of that. But like last April, we literally poor guy like literally had an actual like hemorrhoid on his bum.
We had to use hemorrhoid cream on it. Preparation 8.
Talia's here. So yeah, but that got all cleared up, and then a big thing that happened in April was I think probably not the only animals we took this year, but the only goats. So I'll let you guys tell that story too, because I wasn't there for that. Were you involved in the Savannah and Elaine rescue? No. Okay, I'm going to let you guys talk about it.
Johnny,
Just an FYI, we are live.
Jamily.
Live. We are live. Okay.
We're live.
So Savannah and Elaine were rescued back in April, and I'll let you guys tell that story because I was not there that day.
So a woman contacted me she contacted Instagram for Goats with Horns, and basically saying that there was an abandoned property next to her and on the property there were 2 goats, and she doesn't know, how long they were there. They had noticed them, luckily, because it was, like I said, it was April, but we were in the Sonoran Desert, so it was still getting hot. And so they had no water, no food. It was such a dump. It was almost like a literal dump. From the photos I saw, there was like a broken toilet, like broken signs, plastic. Since the property was abandoned, like homeless people had broken the windows out.
Yeah, it was a house, and the neighborhood was even actually nice.
And gone in. Who knows what they, how they were treated, but they were so skittish and afraid. And the hooves were completely overgrown. They were emaciated. They had nothing. So luckily, like these neighbors, they had been trying to contact animal control, and then when they got through to us, and we're like, oh, if you get through to them, they're going to euthanize them. That we're not set up in an area where they would just be like, oh yeah, we'll take them down to the shelter and help them. They would be like, we don't know anything about these goats on an abandoned property, and they would have probably shot them or euthanized them on the spot. So luckily, Michelle was able to take them in at the time. So then they had to organize like a rescue,
the troops,
a roundup event, because first we had asked them like, hey, do you think you can you bring them here? And she's like, oh, I can't handle them. Like, they're so skittish and shy, and they didn't have experience with animals, and they saved their life by bringing them the food and water and letting us know that they were there. But they weren't necessarily given hay, or probably they were just giving them like some grain and some produce, which is great, like in moderation, but their diets should primarily be hay. They were so the abandonment was so evident that when they did finally get here, they didn't even know what to do with hay. They were like, what is this? Because they had never been given that, access to hay and grass and things like that. Since we don't know for sure their age, the vet estimated at like around 4, but because of the severe malnutrition, like Elaine was suffering for a while of like severe arthritis. She only recently went into heat for the first time that we know of, because they've finally put on weight and are healthy. Sven has wattles, and the one was just like this little tiny nub, and now it's like grown. It's like they finally had enough to grow. And I actually didn't go on the actual rescue mission. I was at work that day, but Michelle was there, and a bunch of people. And
Jamily and Nicholas are the one who did everything, because the backyard was literally a dump. I mean, there was wood with nails sticking out. I mean, I was scared that they were going to get hurt, Jamily and Nicholas, because it was just rusty and disgusting. They had to chase them around, and they finally got Sven first, because Elaine was much more distraught. And once we got them, I mean, they didn't really fight us much, and they went into, was it Johnny who had the truck? Somebody had a truck that we had to put him into the back.
Jamily, probably?
No, it was the back of Johnny's like SUV.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to put him in there. But they were terrified. And then the little girl whose mother had been feeding them had asked us if we would name the little girl Elaine. And so we said, of course we would. And then Jamily decided Sven, because she was wearing her Sven Crocs at the time.
Is that why from? I didn't know that.
That's cute. What's Frozen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's like, "Can we name him Sven?" And everybody's like, "No." And I'm like,
"Oh no, I like Sven because Butters has a twin for Goat's Sake or Goatland, and his name is Sven. So I'm happy to have a Sven. Now Elaine is still very skittish, but Sven's coming around.
Elaine will take grapes from my hand.
Yeah, they'll both eat from.
Talia,
do you want to scoot in a little bit?
I don't
just say hi.
Maybe I'll start on some popcorn or grabbing a tree or something.
Okay. Yeah, we can start tossing trees. Okay. So you want to take her place.
So
We're waiting on our other co-host Johnny.
Card party.
So that was April. If you, we're gonna have a popcorn and Christmas tree party. Mark's gonna, my husband's gonna throw a couple Christmas trees behind us, so you can see. We might have to duck. No, so in case she starts tossing trees around. So that was April. Sven and Elaine. I'm glad they're here. They're really sweet. It's just really cool to see like how much they've like just looked better.
Yeah, we were
Just look
fortunate to
better.
take them because they were little. That was
Yeah.
the only reason we
Yeah.
agreed, because we just can't have any more biggies
Yeah.
on the property. They're too much.
Yeah. So anyway, if you're just tuning in, it's Karen, Talia, and Michelle from Goats with Horns now. And we're about a quarter of the way, third of the way through Year in Review 2025. So let's get to May. So Chickalette, we just discussed Chickalette. She's 3. Her mother and her father both have pretty glorious beards. So every so often I'd see like a hair. And I'd be
2 or
like,
3.
I'd be like,
And you would examine
and I would
it.
take a picture and send it to Michelle and Courtney and be like, I think her beard is coming in.
Here comes the trees.
So finally, it was determined by everybody else besides me that Chickalette was getting a beard. So she finally started growing a little beard. Okay, here comes the trees. We're going to pause for a minute.
Get out of the way. Let them watch.
And here you go.
All right, Nala, do your stuff.
Nala loves a good,
She likes
fresh
to manhandle
Christmas
her
tree.
trees first.
She likes a good fresh Christmas tree.
You should flip it up in the air
Yep,
soon.
that baby's going to go airborne.
Yep.
Oh, there
There it goes.
Oh, can't see. Okay, I'll move this a little bit so we can do better.
It's like a sensory experience
Yeah.
for her.
Mhm.
She likes the feeling on her horns.
Yeah, it's exactly that, because she doesn't
Mhm.
even really eat them.
No,
It's the goats.
it's the, yeah,
The cows like the feeling of them.
I think it's like a loofah.
Well, that was less exciting than it usually is, but that's okay. Anyway,
They're tame.
so we should probably get going, keep going. So Chickalette finally started to grow a beard in May, and then Pretzel passed away. So Pretzel just kind of disappeared, right?
Yeah, and she just randomly showed up too.
Yeah,
She was a wild chicken.
Oh, she was like, we called her like the feral chicken. Like all of our chickens are cooped at night. They're all Pretzel just cruised and did whatever Pretzel wanted to do.
And she was very
I remember she
sleek.
was starting to let me hold her, so maybe
Yeah.
there was something starting to go.
She
with
was
her.
very sleek and very, like, she could take care of herself. She was like, I'm a wild chicken. I don't need anybody. You know, I roost in trees. I take care of myself. She had like just a sleek body. You knew she wasn't raised for like chicken meat or eggs.
Yeah.
She was just
feral
wild.
chicken,
And she
yeah.
just showed up one day.
Yep.
And
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's
she
funny.
just showed up one day
And
and
she just went away one day.
Yeah, and then
she was
one-
here how long? She was here before me.
oh, she was here probably 8 years at
Yeah.
least.
Yes, that was sad. Unfortunately, when it starts to get hotter, like we did not too bad this summer, but
It was
when
a
the
nice
summer months roll around, our chickens do succumb to the heat because they just can't handle it and just get so stinking hot here.
Well, they pant to breathe
and-
and they end up suffocating because they can't pant enough to cool themselves off. Because
yeah.
their lung capacity is just so
They're not like the goats that can sweat
Yeah.
it
yeah,
out.
they can't sweat.
And aren't most of the hens generally more like European, like Eastern European, and so
Mhm.
they're not built for the
Right.
desert?
Yeah,
Right.
most of them probably aren't. And Albert, our 2 sheep. Well, we have 4 sheep, but one breed they don't need to be shorn. Albert and Thomas had their first summer haircut. So they get about 3 or 4 haircuts every summer, just because it gets so hot here. We have to remove all that extra wool, and it's kind of a process because they know, like, if they see the sheep shearer, they freak out. So I have to make sure that they are secured long before he steps foot on this property.
Didn't he come in that time?
I didn't do it this past time.
One time he actually walked into the back gate and we didn't have them.
Yes.
And Albert,
Yes.
we couldn't even get him
Yes.
in because he
Yes.
saw Mick and he
Yes.
was like,
yeah, he freaks
"That's
out.
it."
But
Yeah.
and they look funny. So the kind of the joke is like Albert gets his hair cut and he looks small. Thomas gets his hair cut. He still looks the same size because he's a Dorper sheep and they're just chunk. They're just
They're
chunky.
chunk.
We had a bingo fundraiser. So we do those like twice a year, spring and fall. We had a bingo fundraiser. Those are always really fun. We just do, we set up picnic tables and whatnot in the backyard. We have bingo. And if you win a bingo, we have like a gift table. You can pick a gift, and we have, swag for sale. We have jewelry, and everything that is raised goes to the sanctuary. So that's always a fun thing. And the caterpillars began to arrive. So the sanctuary is a
Monarch
way station
for monarchs, yeah.
for
Monarch
butterflies.
Yeah.
So every year they plant passion flower vines all along the back cinder block wall over here. And then how the caterpillars get here, I don't know. Because it's like I don't know if they like leave eggs. I don't know.
I know.
Because
We
I don't
tried to figure it out
Yeah.
one year. We're like,
And the ones out back are the Gulf fritillaries. The
Yeah.
ones out front are the monarchs.
Yeah.
And we did a whole bit about that on one of our live streams a couple of years ago. If you want to ever catch that. And it's really neat because you see they literally chow these vines down to nothing. And then next thing you know, this place is like a butterfly wonderland. And then they're just gone. So that's when May is usually when that happens. The caterpillars began to arrive. And Sven and Elaine were released from quarantine. So the goats that were rescued in April, we had them separated from everybody for a period of time to get them healthy and make sure everybody was healthy. And
because Sven used to get his horns stuck in that.
yes. But they were released from quarantine. So they live amongst everybody now, and they do pretty well. When we do feedings, as I said earlier, we do some separation. So Elaine eats with Esperanza, our sheep, because they're both just like the slowest, daintiest eaters you ever saw in your life. But Sven stays out and he eats with the big boys. So let's move on to June. If you're just tuning in, we're from Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary and ReelTime Animal Rescue, and we're just about halfway through 2025. Oh, so Merman. We moved Merman to stall feeding because Merman is very, 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 very rotund, and he's also a bully. So it took a little bit of time, but these guys are pretty smart and they're pretty good. It's like if we have to come up with a new routine, it's a little difficult and a struggle in the beginning, but once they get used to it, they go right in. So
Thank God for animal crackers.
Oh yeah, and animal crackers.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize
Goat crack.
about just like, these typical more agricultural considered animals or farm animals is that they're just as easily trained as your domesticated cat or dog at home. Like we feed them, they are trained, but they see us come in with hay, they go into their designated areas, their stalls. And so they're not any different than your cat or dog at home.
Yep.
As far as intelligence, but also just their ability to be trained too. It's pretty amazing.
Well, and the thing is, Michelle and I just had this discussion the other day. They know each individual volunteer's routine. My routine is very different than other. I do not get here at 5:30 in the morning. I get here at like 8. So, and they know all of our routines are similar, but none of them are exactly the same. And they know each individual volunteer's routine too. Yep.
Yeah, like Courtney's an early bird, so is Katie. And it's funny if they're here and it's a little bit past like 5:30. Usually Norma or Nala is like mooing or they're like waiting, where I usually roll in about 6:45 and they're not having a fuss yet. And so they know like, okay, this is her time. She's not late, but it's like they know, they have it pretty clocked in.
One day it was funny because Courtney had a day off from her job. She said, "Hey, you want me to stop by and help you?" And I said, "Sure." And I think she had fed like somebody a bowl of food. And then at the time that I would normally feed that bowl of food, that particular animal was just like hollering at me. I'm like, "You already had it." But they know when they are smart. I mean, oh, Courtney, I'm going to need you. Yeah.
Important popcorn things happening.
Now, oh, wait, hold on. Okay, give like 2 more minutes, because we got to finish June and July, but she needs to come talk about August. So we moved Merman to the stall feeding. Oh, popsicle season. Popsicle season start. I stole this idea from another sanctuary, but a couple of years ago, I saw a sanctuary and they would take like a solo cup and fill it with fresh fruit and fill it with like water and freeze it. Put like a piece of like baling twine in there and freeze it, and then you just pull the whole thing out and you can tie it to the fences and whatnot. And that's a good use for all the baling twine because we've got tons and tons of baling twine.
Although we learned that with Norma, we can't really leave twine out.
No, we can't
anymore.
leave twine out. If you do the popsicles, you got to pick the twine up after, because we're getting to that. We're getting to that. So that's always, I mean, it's the summer sucks here, right? It is so
bad.
hot, but it kind of gives us something to look, to do that is a little bit of enrichment for the animals, and it is, it's good for them, and it's good for us because like when it's really hot, like we kind of just want to get our thing done and go home, but it's not really fair to the animals because they are affectionate and they want like attention. And so at least that kind of gives us a little something to like stick around and, do something special for them in the hotter months. I mean, usually by like 11, they're done and they want to just go like lay somewhere for the rest of the day. And then also clucking ham season starts. So we have, insulated air-conditioned chicken coop, we've dubbed it Cluckingham Palace. And when it gets above, if it's not going to go below like 90 degrees overnight, believe it or not, that happens a lot here, the chickens will be cooped up during the day. So basically they coop themselves at night, and Michelle just goes and closes the door. And when we get here in the morning, we take them from their regular coops and put them inside the insulated coop for the day because it gets that hot. Like we haven't really lost any chickens due to heat because of that.
Yeah, it's been a game changer for
Yeah.
summers.
Yeah, because we would literally just, one summer I think we lost like 3 or 4 chickens because it was 2 summers ago. It was so hot all the time. And I guess like the reason why we started putting back in Cluckingham, this was in June already. It's over 115 degrees. That's how hot it gets here, and it's just too much. And tortoise backpack season starts.
Yes,
So there's
exactly.
a whole thing that comes with summer. It's popsicles, it's electrolytes, it's Cluckingham Palace, and astronomical electric bills, and tortoises. They're sulcata tortoises, and we have a series of like little food ice packs that we actually wrap in duct tape to make them more sturdy, and we keep them in the freezer, and we literally will just take one out. We let it soften for just a little bit, so when we put it on the tortoise, it kind of molds to their back, and they just cruise around with their little backpack on. And sometimes I come the next day and they still have the backpack on.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I have to change it out like when it's
And
really
then-
hot 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah, it's a pain. But and then so our Willow, our little goat Willow, is a skin cancer patient. There was a little mass found on her bum a couple of years ago, and the vet came and froze that off, and now we have to check back there all the time. It's the glamorous life of sanctuary work is checking butts all the time
Buttholes.
for hemorrhoids and skin cancer. But she did have her second spot removal back in June. But she's actually doing quite well otherwise. I think it's been about a year,
Which is incredible
and a
because
few
the vet
months.
said that it was going to be pretty aggressive and
Yeah.
come back quickly, and she really hasn't needed many treatments.
No.
And pale-skinned animals, your cat or your dog or
Mhm.
even goats,
Mhm.
even in not the desert, in normal circumstances, are more susceptible to skin
prone, yeah.
cancers.
Yeah, I had no idea. And she's very light colored, and she's also like a happy goat, so her little tail is always up. Her little tail is always
darling.
up.
She's like a little little house on the
She's in the
prairie
back
goat,
she
isn't she?
She totally
Yeah.
is. Yep. She's back there with right here, I think,
Her
with
Butters.
with Butters, who she arrived with. I'm not sure if they're actually siblings, but they were, surrendered here. But she's like a little fairy. She's
I
like
feel
she
like
looks like
she's come around quite a bit over the last few years too.
Yep.
Because
Oh,
3
yeah.
years ago when I started, she was a lot more shy. I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
and she's very more. She's so
Mhm.
much more extroverted now.
Yeah,
and will
she
come
is.
right up to you. And
Yep. She's really softened up, but yeah, they're total sweethearts. So I'm just curious, maybe the folks out there know how many sanctuary volunteers does it take to make a batch of popcorn?
Well, we're witnessing it right now.
Yeah, I wish you guys could see.
It's free.
Is it not like popping popcorn? Will it pop the same?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
It's
well,
just
but
yellow
it's a
popcorn.
machine.
So
it's
anyway,
machine.
let's carry on.
It's a whole thing.
So now we're
the
getting
expert.
into July. In July, good news. Nothing happened except Chico and his bucket antics. Chico, we have these blue buckets on the property, real big blue. What are they from? Like water. They're these
Yeah.
huge, like half buckets, and we use them for. We rake up the spent hay, we put them in the bucket, and then we wheel the hay out here and put it here where they can nibble on it. And I don't know why he does this, but Chico, after every meal, has to go over there and he just puts his 2 front legs in the bucket and just stands there.
Yep.
So that was just like a funny thing he was doing. So in July, nothing but Chico and his bucket antics. But wait for it. Courtney, you're up.
Which is pretty incredible for the summer in July to
I
have
know.
like nothing go south.
I know.
Well,
I know.
we were saving it. So in August was the big event of the year.
Norma Jean.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I was on vacation when this happened.
Lucky you.
So,
I'm glad I wasn't here.
so
I thought it was
our wonderful volunteer
Minus the
Teresa was out
Was the what?
scooping
You
the
were there,
poo
right?
as we
Yeah.
do.
Oh, that's right. 'Cause you were last year.
And normally when we're out doing that, the cows are still locked up in stalls. So in the morning, we put Rapunzel away first and then the cows, just because Rapunzel is sassy and the cows can just get too lively and excited. So they're usually like locked up until the very end. But they happened to have been let out already. So Teresa was finishing and there was some extra plastic bags. You know, we use the big heavy duty 40-gallon trash bags to line our poo bucket. And Teresa was carrying a shovel of poo over there and she looks and Norma's over there by the bucket and she grabs one of the empty bags and she starts swallowing it. And Teresa runs over and is trying to pull it out of her mouth, but it was too far gone and she couldn't get it. So she swallowed an entire big 40-gallon trash bag. And it was like the extra heavy duty, super thick ones. And at first we were
couldn't
thinking,
swallow the biodegradable one.
No.
I know, right?
we were thinking, you know,
course not.
maybe there's a chance she could pass it. But when we talked to the vet, she's like, because of the size and because of it being so thick, you know, these cows do have 4 stomachs, but it wouldn't have made it out of her rumen out of the first one. And that would have eventually caused her to die because it would have blocked all the nutrients, all the hay, everything. And it would have gotten, potentially, if even part of it came out, it would have been then winding through. So we're just really lucky that, you know, Teresa turned and saw it just in time, because if she, like I said, it was already almost in. If it would have been totally gone, we wouldn't have known, and she would have just been slowly dying, and it would have been this horrible thing. And she's only 8 years old, and cows live to be, you know, 20 to 25 usually. So it would have just been awful. Luckily she saw it, but
Yeah.
that meant
Here's Norma.
that since it wouldn't
This
pass
is Norma we're
that,
talking about.
she would need an emergency life-saving surgery. So then came the task of finding a veterinarian who would be able to do that, because they needed a chute to be able to hold her. And not only that, but she had to be awake the entire time. So of course they gave her a nerve block and things, but they had to keep her in this chute. And if you follow us on social media, we had a bunch of videos at that time. And yeah, it was crazy. Some of them were a little bit more graphic for people that like seeing that. They basically had to cut into her, pull her stomach out. It was
Her
almost
rumen out.
a
Rumen
rumen
out.
out, similar to like
What's it,
a
a
C-section where they have to
rumenectomy or
Yeah, it was a
pull
rumenectomy. Yeah.
you know, the uterus out to take the baby or something. But yeah, it was a rumenectomy. So they had to pull that out and then secure that, and then open that up to pull the bag. And they were just pulling all this gunk out. And meanwhile, she has this huge gaping wound. There's blood, bodily
rumen.
And they had to
fluid.
do it in the metal man
Yeah.
cave, right?
So yeah, it was just done in the metal man cave over there in the chute. And it was a great team. You know, it was our original, like our vet, our normal vet who we love, and her assistant, and then the vet that she found with the chute and his assistant. And then it was
Shout out to AZ Mobile Vet.
Yeah, it was Mobile Veterinary Practice.
Yeah,
I think it's
AZ Mobile.
MV. No, I think it's
MVP.
Mobile.
Mhm.
And then it's Arizona Livestock for
Yeah.
Dr.
for our
Riz.
regular vet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was a bunch of us volunteers coming to try to just assist in any way we could, and kind of like for moral support.
for calm.
But we went into it so much on social media at that time, so I won't go too in depth with the surgery. Just we'll skip ahead to the part where we finally were like, okay, it was late at night, you know, they had been going for hours. She had not been a cooperative patient, and they were basically trying to push her rumen back in to sew her back up, and it fell on. She was being so stubborn, and she went down basically in the chute, and the force of that pushed it out onto the veterinarian's boot
Oh,
and
And the
Oh, it's
dirty
on the floor.
Yeah.
so
Which is
her bodily
filthy.
organ
A cement
fell
dirt
onto the
floor.
floor.
It was a
and,
combination though of her slipping because
Yeah.
it was really wet.
and so
If
we
you
were trying to
ever need
shove
an animal to have that
blankets and
done, put
towels
blankets.
underneath her hooves because she couldn't get up, and then she wouldn't get up, and so they're having to like shove it in while all of her weight is pushing on it, and they finally did, but then because it had fallen, there was such a huge risk of infection. So then we basically had to watch, like, a miracle, you know, she made it through the surgery, and
And then we had
then
to wait
now we have
7
to
to 10
wait.
days and make
7
sure
to 10
no
days.
infection
Sepsis.
set in. And guess what? It didn't.
Yeah,
And
so
she's still here.
yeah, it was quite the ordeal. Like, we thought
Yeah.
for a while at the end that we were going to lose her because she wouldn't get up, and they were doing everything in their power to get her up, but you know, she wouldn't. And if they wouldn't have been able to get it in and sew her up the right way, you know, she would have died. So it was horrible. It was really traumatic at the
Yeah.
end. But
Yeah, I hate to say, I'm kind of glad I wasn't here.
I mean, it's really cool to better
Yeah.
understand the anatomy
Yeah.
of everything and what goes into, you know, this type of care on animals of this size. You can't just go into sedation.
Happy New
Obviously,
Year.
she needed to be standing the entire
So we're
time.
talking about Norma's
So,
surgery.
Yeah.
Emergency
Terminology.
surgery.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I literally just titled that the big one, all caps. that was more
wild.
excitement than we needed to have this year, but it all ended up. Oh, look who's behind me,
Right.
Merman. So Johnny's here. Johnny's the usual third co-host. He's here with the program. Did you sleep last night?
I did.
Slacker.
I did sleep all morning long.
All right.
At least all
And
morning
then
long.
more. Oh, it's starting to rain. More goofy fake holidays.
Mark, you can make a
World
bunch.
Goat Day is August 21st. So that's August for you. If you're just tuning in, it's Karen, Johnny, Courtney, Michelle, Talia from Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary, Year in Review 2025.
Yay.
We're on to September, and I might need you for this one too, Courtney, because I don't remember this. But I guess Nala was having a excitement zoomies or whatnot out there, and then she crashed into the wall at
Oh.
first.
it was like we have a little brush over there, like a broom bristle brush that they use to scratch.
Mhm.
And she was getting into it so happy. You know, she literally started doing like bucking, like back and forth, you know, like a rodeo cow. And there was a small crowd of us over here watching because we had just got done like probably feeding some produce or something.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my gosh, how cute. You know, she's jumping, she starts spinning around, she's so happy. And then she turns so fast, she smacks
Umbrella.
her horn
I was just gonna put
into
these
the
in my
brick
purse 'cause
wall.
it's very wet.
There's this collective intake gasp because she starts moving like this. We didn't know if she was about to go down, like if she knocked herself out, gave herself a concussion. She was so woozy. It was like if it would have been a cartoon, the stars and the birds would have been flying around. She took a couple steps. We didn't know if her horn had cracked. We didn't know what had happened. And it was less than a minute, but it was probably almost a full minute that she was so dazed, and we were so scared. We didn't know what to do. And then she, shook it off. But she had hit the brick so hard, and we have a mural on the back wall, and she hit it on part of the mural that's painted blue because her horn had paint embedded in it because she had hit so hard. And it was like, went from this cute, adorable, happy, bucking, super excited cow just to like, oh my gosh, is she going to just pass over? Did she break her neck? Because she got stiff, and she was just like, it was.
Wow. Yeah, I don't even remember that. And that's like I said, that's kind of the joy of scouring through a year's worth of social media. I'm here once a week, and I miss stuff still. So yeah, that must have been scary. And September, and I think I need Michelle for here comes the popcorn party. We have terrible ADD today. Don't mind us.
Sorry.
You're good. Oh yeah, that's good. Ooh, popcorn party.
Yum.
So somebody, so I mentioned earlier that Michelle's son works at a nursery. The nursery donated a 50-pound bag of popcorn kernels.
Oh, nice.
So we decided to go ahead and have a popcorn party today. The animals are being spoiled today. They're getting their trees, they're getting their popcorn. So yeah, let's carry on here. So Michelle might need to talk about this. You adopted 6 pigeons back in September. They were part of a seizure, right, or something.
Yeah, there was a sanctuary in Tucson, and it kind of fell into disrepair.
Oh,
And she was, I don't know a lot about it because they didn't really want to give me details, but
mm-hmm.
she had all of her animals seized. Goats, I know, goats, chickens, pigeons. She had these sweet geese, and we said we'd take some of the animals, but unfortunately, after they were rescued by PAC, they were kind of put on Facebook for, hey, here's some animals. If you want them, take them. They weren't vetted, unfortunately. So we didn't get the geese that we were hoping for. They were super friendly. We were excited to have some friendly geese. We didn't get them. But about 6 weeks later, after quarantine, we're able to take 6 of the pigeons. There was about 60 of them. Most of these are former racing pigeons. Supposedly, the majority of them came from a guy who raced pigeons and just dumped them in a park. And if you don't know, pigeons are not wild. They're domestic. They rely on humans for food and resources. So these guys wouldn't have survived. So a lot of them are old racing pigeons. They're anywhere from like 5 to 20 years old. And we basically have a cat.
Is it one boy?
There's 2 boys now.
and
We
4
thought,
girls?
yeah, 2 boys and 4 girls. And
They're cute.
yeah, and the girls are laying eggs. Which I take away because I don't want them to have more babies.
Well, I came in and I was like, the pigeons laid eggs. She said, no, they're like dummy eggs to keep them from laying eggs, like fake eggs.
But they
that
still
didn't
lay
work.
real ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then after that, we took in the 4 new hens.
The stripper
Trixie-
hens.
The stripper
Yes.
hens.
I
They
have to
make
say,
fun of the
one of
names.
the best additions to
Trixie,
the sanctuary since
Amber.
I've started.
Trixie, Amber,
Lexi.
Lexi,
It's Lexi.
and no,
What?
Jinxie,
Jinxie.
and Betty.
Jinxie and Betty.
Yeah. Unfortunately, their previous mom was passing away of cancer, and she since has. But she, and it's a lot of people's dying wish is to know that their animals are going to be somewhere safe. And so we were able to give her that gift, and I think sometimes that does help people move on to the next plane is when they know that animals that they love so dearly are safe and going to be cared for.
It really did
It does.
because she passed right after.
Yep.
Yeah,
right
like
after
we got
they were
them.
secured. Yep.
We got them
That was sad.
a
She was
week
young. She was
before.
only like
Yeah,
our
she was
age.
only like 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them, and within a week, they went home and told their mom. The girls the daughters. So we're like, Mom, they're safe. They're in a happy place. They're going to keep their original names. They're going to take really good care of them.
Yeah.
And then a week later, they brought the last one they couldn't catch. And on that day, they told me that the mom had passed the night before. So within a week of us getting them,
They're
passed.
really, really sweet chickens.
And
You
they're
can tell that
beautiful.
she took really good care of them and she loved them. And they're really beautiful, but they're really friendly. And we all like have our own personal lap chicken here. So yay for lap chickens.
They're smart.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
they'll jump up.
and grab grapes out of
Yep.
your hand.
Mhm.
Trixie runs to you she reminds me of a golden
Trixie's
retriever.
definitely the friendliest one. Well, Betty's pretty friendly, but Trixie's like the more outgoing one out of the 4. But they're all really sweet. And we'll get to the second part of that story in a little bit. So, and then if you guys watching don't know, the other side of real-time animal rescue is compassion education. So, real-time animal rescue brings live streams, kind of like this, but we do more educational. But we can bring this into classrooms. And I happen to be one of the presenters for that. That's why I don't really do the live streaming anymore because I'm involved with the compassion education. So I started doing presentations back in September. So that's really exciting. And this year coming should be pretty big for that. So I literally go on a Google Meet. I don't see the kids or anything. That's kept private, but I broadcast into classrooms outside in the field and answer their questions, anything they want to know. It's really a lot of fun. And then if anybody's interested, it costs nothing. You know what I mean? It's something that Real-Time Animal Rescue does for free. They just want to pass on to the next generations being good stewards of the animals and the environment. So that was cool. And so now we're getting into October. World Farmed Animal Day is the 2nd of October. So we like to celebrate that because the point of that holiday is to celebrate the ones that are here and honor the ones that are no longer here. Flash flooding. Flash flooding.
Oh,
So
yes.
as you can see, this pasture here is currently dry, but we had so much rain in October. I mean, literally, there's a town about an hour away from here called Globe. It was like washed away. It was very sad. Like people died. It was horrible. But this backyard, this whole pasture was underwater. It was a lake. And in case you didn't know, goats are made of sugar. So if they get wet, they melt. But it was a mess. Like and it breached because there's a series of berms to protect the covered dirt area. So they would at least have some protection from rain. That whole thing was like, this whole place was a flood. It was horrible. I mean, I know you were here.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of came up with some contraptions to try to get the food up out of the.
Yeah, we tried, but yeah, nothing prepared us for that day. I think it was after, I think it was the day after. I think it rained on a Saturday or Friday or something. And then
It just kept raining.
It kept raining for days.
Courtney and I showed up Sunday morning and I was trying to just get through it and work through it. But I don't think Courtney could hide the expression on her face or she was just blown back by how much water there was. And I could see her problem solving. And I was just like, if you need me to do something, just tell me to do something. And I was just trying to find dry spots and feed them because the babies still wanted to be fed, but they were standing on little dry islands all throughout back. And, there were, cows next to goats that are petrified of them. And, it was unreal. And, we have like these planks back over here, some elongated planks. And, I think even Courtney told me, I don't think that's going to work, Johnny, but I didn't care. I was like trying to, oh no, it was a pallet. That's what it was.
Yeah, but then the pallet sank and I had to dig it out of the mud.
Oh my God. Yeah. So the pallets and, she was
They
like,
worked for the moment.
Yeah. And that's when I saw it above the water and it looked dry. I thought, okay, well, somebody will want to stand out of there. And we did save Julio's life. Julio was stuck in that back little house and he wouldn't get out of there. He was just trembling. Yeah. And even though we provided him dry planks, he still wouldn't move. But eventually we coaxed him out of there. And, but we survived and I found out about a manual pump that we had out there. So I tried, but
well, and I think since then the berms have been reinforced again, but that back area never floods. So this is kind of like one of those every 10-year storms. And it probably sounds weird. Like, oh my God, it rained more 3 days in a row, but that's super unusual here. It was very, very heavy rain. The ground is so dry. It just doesn't soak it in, No, but so that was a kind of a mess for a couple of weeks. So that got all cleared up. Like, I remember you were here. And then the third thing, there was only 3 things in October, but the third thing was Elaine got lice. Mm-hmm. And how only she got it, I don't know. So don't get scared. It's goat lice. It's goat specific lice. None of the other animals can get it. We can't get it. We had an outbreak of it a few years ago where like they all had it. Snowy had it real bad, and we treated everybody and it went away. But then Elaine just had goat lice in October, and we did the treatments and it's all gone. But trying to treat her was a bit of a struggle because she's still super skittish. Like, she's super skittish. Mm-hmm. Remember Elaine got the lice? And why only her? I have no idea where it came from.
Well, and if she didn't already mention, Karen and Mark were the ones who did the treatment for her, and she was such a champion. Like, that was another post. Like I said, if you're not following us on Instagram and Facebook, you've got to, because we have.
I had her in like a wrestling leg hold.
She's like on the ground.
I told my husband, and it's not pleasant, but sometimes, in order to give them the treatment they need, you kind of have to manhandle the animals a little bit. And we're all vegans. We're all like softies. We don't want to do that. These are our friends. But unfortunately, if you need to give them what they need, sometimes that has to be done. But my husband is like the worst. And I said, you got to get her in the corner and you got to be a big man and you got to get her in the corner and I'll take it from there. And I got her and I literally just like flipped over and I wrapped my legs around her body and he did the.
This is why we
won't. Yeah, I know. And then we don't have to. And I got my thumb caught on something, so
Oh.
I'm just holding her, and like the video, I'm videoing it,
Yeah.
because priorities. And Mark, and all we do is like a syringe of it's called Ultra Boss, and you just go up the spine. It's very much like what's that one that you do for the cats?
Like
Oh.
Revolution.
Yeah, very much like that. You just go up the spine with this liquid and just leave it be. And I'm on the ground. I got my legs wrapped around her, and I'm bleeding. And I'm like, get my phone, get my phone, because nobody's gonna believe this.
You had like a head cam on for something like that.
Oh no, I didn't. That was just
WWE.
Yep, that was just my phone in my pocket. So
Awesome.
that's always fun, treating the animals for lice. It's all gone. It's all cleared up.
Yeah.
It looks like. So that was October. So if you're just tuning in, it's Karen and Johnny and Courtney and Talia and Michelle and the Popcorn Man here at Goats with Horns on ReelTime Animal Rescue, and we're just about done with our year in review 2025. If you've been watching, thanks for sticking with us. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to type something up, because I can see that and I can answer any questions, or talk about any comments you guys might have. Norma's back here. She's just all enthralled with the popcorn maker right now. Hey, Nala.
She's staring it down.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize.
Oh yeah, she's just look at her
just
hair
staring
today.
it
She's
down.
got a fun little like perm,
Yeah, she's got
poofy
a
perm.
perm.
So let's get to November. So
November, I hate.
the November was a rough month. But Stanley, so we have Stanley the rooster, and he's not very nice, but to certain people, he's afraid of me. He runs away.
He
So we have-
attack me anymore.
We have two roosters on the property now. We have
Finally.
Giuseppe and Stanley. And Giuseppe kind of like has been with the previous hens like forever. So that's like his little brood of hens. And poor Stanley had no girlfriends. But lo and behold, well,
a human.
chicken girlfriends. But
Good problem to have.
you're weird.
That's a good problem to have.
You're weird. But the four hens, the girls, Trixie and Amber and Jinxie and Betty, have now become like Stanley's little group of hens. So that's actually really cute. He seems so happy now. I think he's like less.
He doesn't attack. He doesn't go after me anymore. I don't.
He's like less mean to the people.
He doesn't even take swipes or anything. He just lets me walk by.
He's so much happier now. He looks better, because he would do some pretty gnarly moats every year. But he's so much, because that's their innate like instinct, is to protect and have their little hens and protect their hens. And it's really kind of cute to watch, because the roosters will even allow the hens to eat first and wait their turn. So Stanley looks really good, and he formed like a little family with the new girls. And then the ducks formed a family. So everybody has, their ADHD has kicked in. They've wandered off. So we had 3 ducks living on the property. We had Bruno, Mars, and Clyde living in one stall, and we had Elvis in the other stall. And when we got down to this few ducks a couple years ago, we just said, why don't we just put Elvis in with the 2 boys? And it did not go well, like at all. And the funny thing is, they sit at the fence and they go all day long, these 3 ducks. But we tried putting Elvis in with the 2 boys, and they like attacked him, and it went really, really bad. It went really poorly. So we just, okay, this is what we're doing. Well, speaking of people that leave gates and whatnot open, not you, Michelle. The gate wasn't quite closed. I think she was cleaning the duck pools out, and all 3 of them wandered out. And they didn't like the 3 ducks, like they all kind of wandered out, and they made their little thing, and just off they went.
I was cleaning the duck pond, and I turned around, and they're all out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're all out. And they were all together in a little puddle, like going.
And they just, So we went like this, fingers crossed, and it's still sticking. And the 3 boys, they stall themselves at night. And we usually keep them stalled like during feeding times. That way, because the animals will eat their food. And then they're out just wandering around during the day, all 3 of them. And it's so cute, because they all come out and they all like, and it's like follow the leader. And I said, oh, is that what they mean by get your ducks in a row? Because it's so cute, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So that was really cute. Sad news. Suerte's girlfriend, Ball,
R.I.P.
died. Suerte had a love affair with an exercise ball, a physio ball. I've seen it in my own eyes. And unfortunately, the ball is no longer, but I think we got him a new one already, right?
Yeah.
We got him a new one already?
Yeah, he got a new girlfriend.
Okay,
He's
good.
gone, dude.
But we always like called it his girlfriend because
We found her on Goat Tinder.
he would do kind of nasty things to the ball. But he liked to play with the ball too. I'd go out there and kick it and we'd chase it around and stuff. So, but Suerte, it's all is good. Suerte got a new ball, got a new girlfriend. And then Fernando. So Fernando, our resident turkey, male turkey, started showing signs of maybe arthritic condition, pain. So now Fernando gets meloxicam, a half of meloxicam. We were popping it inside a grape, and he decided he didn't like that. So now he rolled it up in a little tiny piece of bread, and he's still doing that. So he's a lot more limber. He used to get stuck kind of up on top of the coop, couldn't get down, but he can get up and down all by himself again. So that's good. I don't know, how old is Fernando? Anybody know? Well, yeah, he was born here, right?
Yeah, he was born here.
He was Alfonso's kid.
That was scary though. He was
I don't
really failing
remember.
to thrive. Like
What are
he
you
was.
doing?
I thought he was
Sorry.
done. Yeah.
I'm trying to get a bingo piece out.
There's a knife thing on the side of my purse, Gerber tool.
Okay.
So, and then we had our second bingo fundraiser, which was a bingo and pumpkin smash fundraiser. So it's, just post Halloween, we asked people to donate their unused pumpkins, provided there's no wax or paint and they haven't been treated. And we chop them up, and part of the, draw for the crowd is that they can feed these pumpkins to the animals. They love the pumpkins. So that was fun. We did pretty good with that. Same bingo as usual. And then it was Willow and Butters' 5-year rescueversary.
It's a bingo piece.
Drag her over here. Drag her over here.
She doesn't like it?
Or does she like
No,
it?
she does like I was scratching the back of her hump.
Oh, she was.
Scratch the back of. Come on, Nala.
Oh, Punzy.
Oh, that's a good one. For
Yeah,
Lindsay.
so we're getting a little sidetracked here, but that's okay. I purchased these telescoping back scratchers. The reason why I originally purchased them was because I wanted to give the more skittish goats the joy of a booty scratch from afar. But so far, they're not fans. But Zeus, the potbelly pig, loves the scratcher, loves it. And then I was scratching Nala. She's got the horns, and then since it's like her skin wraps around the horn, and in the back there's kind of like a little divot. And I was scratching that this morning, and she seemed to really like that. So it was Willow and Butters' 5-year rescueversary. So Willow and Butters they came from a decent situation. They were like somebody's pets, but they had to move like an elderly person, parent or something in with them, and that person came with a dog, and then the dog attacked Butters, so then they decided they needed to put Butters in a safe home. So that's where Butters and Willow came from. And then very sad news. So we talked about Cheeto earlier, and then the other, Michelle's probably favorite cat she's ever had was Coco. Big, chonky, black, beautiful sweetheart, like just the coolest cat you ever met, literally. And Coco was also like the grandfather for all the foster kittens that came through here. Uncle Coco. He would, same thing as Cheeto used to do. He would just like let the kittens nurse, and they really taught a lot of kittens that have came through here how to be like a good cat, right? But Coco started with maybe like a degenerative spine disease or something, not too, and there wasn't really anything. It was just waited out, and his time came. But he was a funny cat, because I remember one day he could come out and hang out in the yard occasionally, and Courtney's up here. She's got a whole tour of people, and she's up here and she's talking about these animals and doing her thing, and Coco's out here in the yard, and the whole tour is just over here oohing and eyeing over Coco, because he's here.
He's the mascot.
Coco's here with us today. Yeah, he was the mascot of the sanctuary. He was just literally the coolest cat ever. He's a total sweetheart. So he's here with us today. So that stunk. So that was November. Went out with a bang. Okay, so December, I actually wrote down that I brought in the telescoping booty scratchers. And then Chico injured his horn again. But this time
ripped
he knocked
whole
the
thing.
whole dang chunk of it off and leaves like the. So I'm not sure if I have the anatomy correct, but this is just what I've seen with my own eyes when they knock their horns off. But they have like their horns. So this is why we advocate for not taking the goat's horns off. This is why the sanctuary is called Goats with Horns, because when they should keep their horns when they're little, like 2 weeks old, they'll have the horn bud burnt down in order for them not to grow horns. This is for like farms. They don't want them to like get caught on things. They don't want them to injure each other, whatever. But it's how they regulate their body temperature. And it was actually kind of crazy. There's a lot of nerve endings and blood supply in there. And we were just talking the other day, I was with Frankie and Merman, and the base of their horns were really, really warm. So they must have been kind of that's regulating the temperature. So how it looks like to me, it looks like there's kind of like a stalk here, and then they got the horn like outside. So, but the first like third of the horn is where all the nerve endings and blood supply are. So he literally knocked the whole horn off, and now he's just got the bloody stump there. And we tried spraying some stuff on it, and that didn't work. And the vet came and cauterized it, and it's looking good today.
Yeah.
It looks really good today. But you know, goats normal play, you know, that is the headbutting. And so we have a situation now where Peanut with her full horns and Willow, who has the little buds that were burned off, they're loose. They're like flimsy, like they don't stay on. She's got a bloody wound on her head, and it's not anything anybody did to her. It's her normal like instinct to play like that. And she goes up against a horned goat and she's bleeding now, right? She looks good today too. But so yeah, so Chico really did a number on this horn this time. That was the second time this year. But he looks good today. It was taking a while to heal, but today looks really good. Let's see. So, and then, oh geez. So more sad news. Another kitty cat. So you guys don't really get to see the kitty cats. We don't live stream them, but Michelle has her own personal cat companions. We lost Chico, we lost Coco, and then we had this new girl, Callisto, and she was just this really sweet cat. I don't think you were really intending to keep her, but something
She bonded.
about her, and she stuck around. Well, she was pretty sickly when she came here, and then she was doing really good, but she was super, like, she was pretty attached to Coco.
Oh yeah, they were bonded.
And after he passed away, like, she just took a turn for the worse. Then she passed away. So, well, I call her Mini Fro because Michelle has a cat named Frodo, and this girl looked just like him. So I always called her Mini Fro, but her name was Callisto. And she's
Callie.
also here with us today. So we got a little fur here. So yeah, it's been crazy. And then on top of that, Ginny. So she came out and
Same day.
one of the long time hens here, one of Giuseppe's longtime girlfriends was just passed away. Ginny, she's been here for a while.
Oh yeah.
It was like 2019 or 2020.
Before me. She was here before me. So at least 2020.
They were the ones in the desert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
the last one. It was
Yeah.
Charlotte, Ginny, and Mr. McCoy.
Oh,
Yeah.
they were all found wandering in the desert.
Yeah.
Four-wheeler.
So all three of the desert chickens have since passed on.
A cool thing happened though that morning because I was doing chores and she was standing right in front of the gate, which she usually doesn't. And I thought it was strange and I didn't want her to get hit by the gate. So she was just standing and the sun was coming down on her. And I just picked her up and moved her like a couple feet over, and she didn't fight me or anything. And I just thought that was so strange. I didn't mention it to you because we were dealing with Callie. She was going to the vet that morning. But then she passed. And so she her last day, she was just enjoying some sunshine.
You don't see it until after, because we were saying like when Pretzel died, like she was allowing me to pick her up and hold her. Like, previous to that. So yeah, so it was one thing after another, right? December, and then after that we had our winter Facebook auction. So basically, we just list items up for bid on Facebook, and people can bid on them, and whoever bids the most wins. And we raised about $900 for that one.
About $1,000.
Oh, about $1,000, yeah. So that was cool because we're always asking for money. Always need money. Always need money.
Something's always happening.
And then so Katarina and Stash form a family. So this was weird. So there's Katarina's not really feral, but she's like an outdoor
Oh, did
cat
we
that
talk
lives
about
here.
Stash?
No, we didn't. We should.
Yeah, that was huge. Capturing Stash and we thought she had
Oh.
stomatitis. One of the ferals that lives out front. She's just been
Oh yeah,
Skin
so
and bone.
she's
skin
been
and
here
bone,
for like,
failing to thrive.
Always under your
yeah,
car.
and
She
you
was always
guys,
under
was
your
it
car.
Always under my
stomatitis?
car. Yeah. This
We
is
thought
my
she had
scar.
stomatitis, and my phone's acting really weird.
Mm.
And so, with stomatitis, it's like massive mouth inflammation that basically they'll starve themselves to death.
Mhm.
And so we found a vet that would work with a feral, which doesn't always
And she's pretty
happen.
feral.
She's really
She's
Yeah,
very
she's like
feral.
actually feral.
We learned the Michelle.
Yeah.
We had to take.
Oh,
a little trip
you
to
got
the-
bit and had to go to the
Yeah.
hospital and get the tetanus shot.
So
and
we
whatnot.
were able to get her not easily at all. Even she was drugged. She was on sedation meds and still scaled the wall. Michelle got her, scruffed her. We ran through the house with the cage, but worked with a great vet. Shout out to Dr. Phil at Adobe Vet for helping us out with Stash. And it turned out she
Changed
didn't
her.
have stomatitis.
Oh.
She just had
Really bad.
really bad dental
Oh.
disease, like not gingivitis.
They did remove all her teeth, but her
Oh, they
fangs.
did.
but
Okay.
two, yeah.
Okay.
And so
Yeah, and
but
she did a complete turnaround
she's like a
after
different
that.
cat
Yeah.
now.
So Stash has a setup on the front of the house, and then Katarina kind of cruises around, and like her little food bowl used to be like on the back side of the house, and all of a sudden, like lately, I go to
They're
my
like
car to
best
leave,
friends.
and they're like curled up in a bed together. So yeah, it's like super cute to see that.
I feel like Stash has gotten less feral and Katarina's gotten more feral.
Mhm.
They've like met in the middle.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like Katarina doesn't seem like as needy for us anymore.
No. No.
It's pretty
Not
crazy.
more
She's,
feral.
yeah.
Yep. That's all right, but they're just so cute. I saw them one day I was leaving, they were grooming each other. I was like, what is
I
going
love
on?
it.
Okay.
So cute.
But it's super cute.
Katarina was an inside cat at once, and now it's amazing
mhm.
how they adapt.
Yep. And I guess somebody came and overhauled the whole goat playground, so that was nice because that was getting a little rickety. And then so Chicolette's beard, which I've been waiting for 3.5 years to grow in, and we discussed that earlier. I'd see like 2 hairs, and they would laugh at me, and then confirmation. These guys were like, "Oh, she does have a beard. It disappeared. It's gone. There's no beard. We have no idea what's going on with this chick."
Perimenopause be gone.
Yeah, she's 3. And then Nala's 5-year rescueversary was this past month, and it was funny because you were pulling out old pictures. This Nala that has been on camera this whole time. She was tiny, teeny tiny, little horns like this.
Oh my God! Now
Little
they're
teeny
like
tiny.
this.
She's got these big giant horns. And then so we were saying earlier, like usually on New Year's Day we throw your tree, and then we'll get a bunch of trees from the city of Gilbert. After later in this month because they'll do their sacred program, but her son works at a nursery, so we've had a steady flow of Christmas trees almost all month, and pumpkins. So we're still riding the pumpkin train from Halloween, and we've got tons of Christmas trees, and we're still going to get more from the city. But Whitfield's nursery here in Arizona has donated a lot of really nice stuff for us, and right now, like I said, the Christmas trees, tons of them, pumpkins, tons of them. My husband's cooking up a 50-pound bag of popcorn kernels that they donated to us, Whitfield's Nursery. They also donated to, there's the Southwest Conservancy Wildlife Conservancy, and I saw a bear.
Yeah, that was so cute.
Playing with the Christmas tree. So Whitfield's is doing a lot of nice things with their, extra stuff. And Willow, we already talked about Willow's boo-boo, the head butting the boo-boo. We sprayed that. She's doing good. And that's it. That's a wrap, folks. That was 2025 in a nutshell, an hour and 17-minute nutshell from Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary. So if you're just tuning in, it's the whole crew from Goats with Horns Animal Sanctuary on ReelTime Animal Rescue, and we'll love to wish you a very happy new year and a wonderful 2026. And everybody say bye.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for
Support and visit your
watching.
local sanctuaries.
Definitely.